What else might they be misleading this country about? Here is the alarming revelation, ladies and gentlemen. Not only do we have stolen components of biometric voters registration, BVR kits, on our hands, but we also are dealing with missing biometric verification devices, BVDs. This disclosure was made at the IPAC meeting on Tuesday, April 9, 2024, by the Electoral Commission when they briefed stakeholders on the Commission's biometric equipment. Regarding the missing and unretrieved biometric verification devices, BVD, the NDC indicated at the IPAC meeting that many of the questions raised about the stolen components of the registration kits apply to the BVDs. Specifically, Ghanaians also needed answers to the following questions about the missing BVDs. Now the remaining 7 questions. Question 29. Have all unretrieved missing BVDs been returned to the EC headquarters? 30. What are the serial numbers of these BVDs? 31. Which polling stations were the BVDs deployed to? 32. What are the names of the persons who were in charge of the BVDs when these BVDs were last deployed to polling stations? 33. What are the protocols for the deployment of BVD to polling stations? 34. Were these protocols adhered to in respect of the missing BVDs? 35. Who has personal responsibility for the safe custody and return of BVDs deployed to polling stations? In light of these bizarre circumstances, it is imperative that the Electoral Commission addresses these urgent and critical questions immediately. The inaction and lack of transparency we've observed are not only unacceptable, but deeply concerning. We, the National Democratic Congress, NDC, along with the citizens of Ghana, immediately demand prompt and comprehensive responses to the questions we have laid out. Now, let me address a matter of grave concern regarding the technical and security implications of the stolen or missing biometric equipment. Over time, some top officials and commissioners of the EC have made pronouncements that are not only weak and inadequate, but also indicative of a troubling lack of understanding of the complexities of electoral security and their broader implications by the very commissioners of the EC who are supposed to be knowledgeable and to act very appropriately. Now, the assertions that the laptops contain no EC information and therefore their theft poses no risk or impact apart from the financial loss was first made by Mr. Samuel Tete, Deputy Chairperson in charge of operations of the Electoral Commission. And this was repeated by Dr. Sribo Kweko, Director of Electoral Services, over the weekend on the Joy News File program, political program. Now, their claim is that the laptops are merely components of the BVR kits and can only interact or interfere with the EC's database system when they are activated with activation codes. Therefore, according to them, the stolen laptops will have no implications since no one will be able to activate them. Firstly, this erroneous narrative provided by Dr. Sribo Kweku and Mr. Tete in the attempt to justify their inactions over the theft case by suggesting that the stolen laptops are inconsequential betrays a worrying level of complacency. It reveals EC commissioners who lack a fundamental understanding of electoral integrity mechanisms and their security implications. Their assertions are not only weak and shallow, but also dangerously misleading and naive. The need for an activation code, while a critical layer of security, is not infallible. Therefore, the focus on activation codes as a sole line of defense illustrates a grave misunderstanding of cybersecurity principles. How secure are these activation codes? Who manages them? And what protocols are in place to prevent their unauthorized dissemination? In cybersecurity, human error or malfeasance is often the greatest risk. It is not uncommon for internal threats or human errors to lead to security breaches. Can the EC guarantee that these activation codes have never been and will never be compromised? Furthermore, the fact that these laptops have undergone the end-of-life process does not mitigate the risk they pose if acquired by malicious actors. Why? Because the physical laptops themselves, once part of the EC's infrastructure, can serve as a blueprint. They can be dissected for hardware vulnerabilities, used in reverse engineering to uncover software flaws, or employed in setting up parallel systems to undermine electoral processes. How can the EC overlook such a basic tenet of cyber security? Moreover, these devices, even stripped of direct electoral data, could potentially be used to create counterfeit systems or to train individuals in manipulating similar devices. In cybersecurity, access to physical devices provides critical insights into system operations, which can be exploited in numerous ways. Are we to believe that such risks are of no concern to the Electoral Commission? Let us consider the potential for these devices to be utilized in staging mock setups, to test hacking strategies, or to train personnel in circumventing security measures. The theft of such laptops must be seen as a direct threat to the integrity of and security of our electoral system. It begs the question, if basic physical security cannot be maintained, how can we trust the Electoral Commission to safeguard the sanctity of our electoral process? Now, the dire consequences of the stolen laptops. Ladies and gentlemen, the theft of the 5 BVR laptops from the Electoral Commission is not a trivial matter to be dismissed as a mere financial loss by the EC. The stolen laptops reveal profound vulnerabilities and pose dire consequences for the integrity of our electoral system, which we cannot afford to overlook or underestimate. The cavalier dismissal of these thefts by the EC as merely a financial loss is not only short-sighted, but also reflective of a perilous disregard for the broader implications of our electoral integrity. How can we stand by when critical and sensitive equipment entrusted to the EC in under 24/7 CCTV surveillance to conduct free and fair elections is treated with such negligence? These pieces of equipment are essential and carry a national security risk, which is precisely why they are monitored continuously. How can such critical assets be compromised when they are under constant watch? These stolen laptops represent a significant breach in the security protocols of the Electoral Commission, which suggests possible vulnerabilities that could be exploited during the actual elections. We must ask ourselves and demand answers from the EC about the potential for these devices to be used in crafting nefarious means to manipulate voter data or to clone voter registration processes. Is this not a recipe for electoral disaster that could question the very legitimacy of our governance system? Moreover, this incident casts a long and ominous shadow over the credibility and trustworthiness of the Electoral Commission itself. How can the Ghanaian people trust that the elections of December 2024 will be free from manipulation when the basic security of such critical equipment cannot be guaranteed? Are we to simply trust without question in the face of these glaring lapses? Let us consider the implications of these thefts not as isolated incidents, but as indicators of potentially broader systemic vulnerabilities that could be exploited to alter electoral outcomes. Each laptop, each piece of equipment in the EC's inventory holds the potential to influence the electoral process significantly. The theft of such devices raises critical questions about the possibility of insider threats or external breaches, which could lead to unauthorized access to sensitive systems. In response to this breach, the assurances provided by Electoral Commission's officials are not only inadequate, but also demonstrate a troubling lack of understanding of the complexities and necessities of robust electoral security. The assurances do not suffice in the face of potential electoral tampering or fraud. We cannot and must not accept this. We therefore demand with utmost urgency a full and transparent investigation into these thefts. Investigation to be conducted with oversight from credible, independent international bodies. We further call for a comprehensive review and overhaul of all security protocols within the EC to ensure that such breaches cannot occur in the future. The integrity of the Electoral Commission, and by extension the democratic integrity of Ghana, must not be compromised. We stand before you today to declare that nothing less than a rigorous, transparent, and secure electoral process is acceptable. Our democracy, the will of the Ghanaian people, and the future stability of our nation depend on this. We remain vigilant and unyieldingly committed to safeguarding democracy in Ghana. Let us move forward with resolve and caution, ensuring that every measure is taken to secure our electoral process, one that reflects the true will of our people. This is not just about the security of laptops, but this is about the sanctity of our votes. Conclusion. Ladies and gentlemen, as we stand on the brink of an electoral crisis, precipitated by the baffling theft of crucial biometric equipment under the ostensibly vigilant eyes of the Electoral Commission, the gravity of this situation cannot be overstated. The inaction and opacity displayed by the EC not only jeopardize the integrity of our upcoming elections, but also erode the very foundations of trust and democracy upon which our nation is established. The consequences of the EC's inaction are profound and far-reaching. Each day that passes without a clear resolution and accountability only deepens the public's distrusts and casts long shadows over the fairness and transparency of our electoral process. The EC's failure to act swiftly and decisively in this critical moment could lead to an electoral process fraught with skepticism and questions of legitimacy, which Ghana can ill afford at such a pivotal juncture in our democratic journey. In response to this dire situation, the National Democratic Congress has laid out clear and non-negotiable demands to ensure the sanctity of our electoral system is preserved and restored. 1. An official written response to the 35 critical questions posed by the NDC at the IPAC meeting, addressing the status, recovery effort, and oversight regarding the stolen biometric equipment. 2, we demand an immediate and comprehensive investigation into the theft of the BVR laptops and related biometric equipment, including a forensic audit of the voters' register. This investigation, as we said, must be conducted by an independent body, supplemented with international observers to ensure neutrality and tolerance. The outcome must provide a detailed report that not only comprehensively identifies those actually responsible, but also outlines significant corrective measures to prevent such breaches in the future. 3, furthermore, we call for the complete audit of the EC's inventory and security measures. This audit should encompass all BVR and BVD equipment and must be carried out by an independent auditor to verify the integrity of all electoral materials and processes. Let me be unequivocal. These are not merely requests. They are demands echoing the will of the people of Ghana for a transparent, fair, and secure electoral process. The eyes of the nation, and indeed the international community, are firmly fixed on the actions of the Electoral Commission of Ghana. How the EC responds to this crisis will not only determine the credibility of the forthcoming elections, accountable, to challenge every inconsistency and to confront any obfuscation. To the NDC, alongside the citizens of Ghana, would accept nothing less than full transparency, immediate action, and concrete solutions to this egregious breach of the electoral security of our country. The time for action is now. The future of Ghana's democracy is in the balance, and we will settle for nothing less than stringent safeguards which ensure that every Ghanaian's vote is counted and protected. Ladies and gentlemen, as we forge ahead, the NDC and Ghanaians will not be swayed by mere assurances based on nothing by the EC. We will continue to demand action, enforce accountability, and ensure that our electoral system is not only secure, but beyond reproach. Our resolve is firm, our commitment is unwavering, and our demands are clear. The Electoral Commission must act, and must act now. This is a defining moment for our democracy, and the NDC is fully mobilized to ensure that the right thing is done. We are alert, we are prepared, and we are uncompromising. The EC must do the right thing, and they must do it now. Let this be a warning. The eyes of Ghana and the eyes of the world are watching. Thank you very much, and may God bless our whole land.